This is the Bates Bobcast, our weekly podcast about the week that was in Bates athletics. My name is Aaron Morse, and this week we resume our Hall of Fame interview series with three-time NCAA champion in the indoor shot put, David Pless, from the class of 2013. Plus, the basketball teams enter the month of December undefeated, and we preview the indoor track and field season. That's coming up on the Bates Bobcast. The number 11 nationally ranked Bates women's basketball team visits number 19 Colby Tuesday evening for a battle of undefeated teams as both squads are 5-0 on the year. Tip is set for 5:30 p.m. and on Tuesday morning, we caught up with senior captain Elsa Daulerio, our female Bobcat of the week, who has now had a week to reflect on joining her mom, Adrienne Scheibels, from the class of 1991 in the Bates 1,000-point club.
Yeah, I had a little bit of time to have it settle in, especially like over Thanksgiving, my whole family there. That was awesome to kind of celebrate it a little. But now we've got a big week. I mean, Colby Bowdoin. So now I'm super focused on those games. But yeah, it was great to have a little bit of a break after that game just to, have that sink in a little bit more.
It's wild to me that I forgot your dad also scored 1,000 points in his career.
Yeah.
He didn't go to Bates, he went to Swarthmore, but that's kind of crazy that all three of you now are at that milestone. I mean, that's got to be pretty rare too. I can't really find any other cases of that. So, I mean, What are your thoughts on, both your parents and yourself being in this club?
Yeah, it's so cool to me. And I think he has like 1,060 and something like that. So, he's always super competitive with me, like comparing stats. So yeah, I'm ready to beat him on that.
Yeah, you're still chasing him a little bit. got plenty of games left to catch him though. And you mentioned focus obviously on Colby and Bowdoin. As far as I'm aware, you have a game tonight. It's a little snowy outside. Yep, at Colby's, the men's game at Bowdoin got moved to tomorrow at Wednesday, but women are playing at Colby. They had a good run last year. They're ranked now in the top 25 this year, along with Bates. I mean, what are your thoughts on this matchup? And Colby, I feel like they're always a tough team. It seems like, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have like one of the strongest rivalries with Colby. Like they show out so well against us, and they just work really well together, I think, too. I think just really focusing on us and what we do and what we bring to the table is going to be huge today. And against Bowdoin, I mean, two ranked teams, but I think focusing on how well we've prepared ourselves, our schedule has been a little bit tougher. We've been through an overtime win, so like we've got some experience there, which is going to be super helpful, I think, situationally with these two teams. Yeah,
I mean, you definitely have played a pretty difficult schedule so far. I feel like, Endicott we just saw beat Tufts the other day. WPI is always solid, and the Southern Maine game, you mentioned the overtime game. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that in the post-game interview also. Overtime games, that can be really valuable later, right? I mean, how does that kind of, intense atmosphere help prepare you for, down the road?
It helps a lot, and I think like in that Southern Maine game, we all knew we were going to win it, like especially in that overtime. So having that like belief under our belts is huge. But yeah, just getting that experience of it's a packed gym too. Like pressure's on. They hit a big three to tie it. So we've already had that experience, which is huge for us. Just to know that like we're good through any storm. We're good.
I actually am curious, just from a mentality standpoint, because it goes to overtime. I'm hyper aware that you need one more bucket to get to 1,001 career points. How aware are you at this moment in time? Like, do you know or do you not know at all until you hear the reaction when you score?
I had no idea at all, and I saw my dad hold up the poster, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like, at least I got that out of the way.
So you did not know until you saw the reaction. Okay, gotcha.
I did not know.
No one was saying anything to you on the bench or anything?
Yeah.
No. I'm sure your teammates kind of knew, though, right?
I think they did,
yeah. Yeah, 'cause I'm always curious, because sometimes people are like, I actually did know about it, but sometimes it's so like you're in the moment, you don't really, you're not counting. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't counting.
And then, Colby and Bowdoin this week. Obviously, Bowdoin a home game. That's got to be exciting.
Super exciting.
Because the students are back now, so we should have a good crowd, I hope, on Thursday, right?
Oh, yeah. We're trying to recruit as many people to come as possible, and that's a great game. It always brings a lot of people, so we're hoping a lot of fans will come.
One thing about this team that I've noticed so far, at least, is, it seems like you can win in a variety of different ways in terms of who's scoring.
Right.
Right? Because, you had 8 points, which is under your normal average, but you beat UNE by, a bunch. What's that like to have so many different options on this team in terms of putting the ball in the bucket?
It's so great. It's going to make us really hard to guard this year, especially, as we get deeper into NESCACs. But, yeah, we're so deep, our team, and if one person's not shooting well or whatever, someone's going to step up and make that shot, and that's super important. We all support each other so much, so it's really special to have. But yeah, it's just other teams are going to find it hard to scout us because of that. So it's really good. Yeah, one day it might be Lily Brown hitting 4 3-pointers in one quarter. One day it might be you having a huge second half against Southern Maine, and so on and so forth. A little bit off the wall question, because I was thinking about it as I was driving in, and it's snowing outside and everything, and I see the Queen Elsa references all the time. How old were you when Frozen came out? I think I was in 5th grade, maybe. Okay. Yeah. Did that change things at all with your name, Elsa? Were you like, oh my God, this is terrible, or this is great? Or because my name's Aaron, and when that Key and Peele sketch came out, Aaron, people started calling me that. I'm like, okay. So, was Queen Elsa a thing right away, or how'd that go? Yeah, it was a little annoying. Some people in my class were like, oh, I hate Elsa. She froze her sister. And I'm like, okay, it's not me. But yeah, I did get that, especially through middle school. It was a lot, but yeah. Do you like the movie? Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Have you embraced it, kind of? Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And your teammates obviously like doing that a little bit too, yeah. Yeah, they made a poster with Queen Elsa on it. Excellent. And then, I noticed when you block a shot, no one comes into your castle or whatever. Yeah. Well, any other thoughts on the season so far? And maybe, as a senior captain, it's got to be great to see, everyone kind of coming together and embracing that joy, right? It seems like. Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to get some more higher competition, just because we've been preparing for so long, and I think we all know what we can do. And yeah, it's great to see the team, the underclassmen, just grow more confidence through these games. So it's going to be great, especially this week and as we get further into the season. Bates is ranked 11th in the country. They're taking on 19th ranked Colby tonight. Hoping to get this podcast up before then, if I can get my act together. Come to Alumni Gym this Thursday. Bates, Bowdoin, always a great matchup. These are non-conference games, but they still matter a lot. 7 o'clock at Alumni Gym against the Polar Bears this week on Thursday. Elsa, thanks so much. Thank you. The men's basketball team is receiving votes in the latest D3Hoops.com Top 25 poll, as they are 6-0 and taking on Bowdoin in Brunswick. That's Wednesday at 7 p.m. Junior Babacar Pouye is averaging 15.3 points per game and 10 rebounds per game, and he is our male Bobcat of the week. All right, you got male Bobcat of the week, Babacar Pouye, with us here on the Bobcast, talking some men's basketball. And Babacar, you're averaging a double-double this year. The rebounding has been a big step, I think, for you. What's been the key to your success on the glass?
I think, working on my cardio and conditioning and making sure that I'm able to be relentless on the glass, getting tip-outs from my teammates, even if I don't come down with the board, I got Keenan Sparks right there. I got Sean O'Leary, they come down hard, so I feel like, just being in the right spot, fighting hard for my positioning, and doing the hard work early so that so the work's easier farther down the line, and I can just get my rebounds and, go back up with it or, get some second chance points for my guys.
This past week, the Tuesday game, USM, they're a solid team. Take us through that game. You guys held them off pretty much. It never seemed like it was a real threat throughout the game. And then Sunday, just like a, pretty dominating victory. Take us through the past week from your perspective, I guess.
Yeah, so against USM, we came out a bit sluggish. I feel like our defense we weren't webbing as much as we wanted to. And, we felt a little bit disappointed in the win because, we felt like we could have played a lot better. But in the end, it was still really good to, have that battle, have them kind of hit back at us, have us kind of reply to that in a, solid fashion, making sure that we stayed poised and we got the win. And then, they're missing Doug McCullough, their big man, who's probably been one of my favorite guys to play against.
Oh.
And he's out with the injury. So that game we were able to get a lot of our younger guys in, and it was really, really good to see some of them get some dunks.
Yes.
And it was just good to see them play. It makes me really happy. They put a lot of work in. We call those guys the Toon Squad. They just bring a lot of energy. They just make us better every day. So I got a lot of love for those guys, and it was great to see them play. So yeah.
The Toon Squad. I mean, Aiden Gideon Hope, he's not a younger guy. He's a senior, but he got a nice dunk there, too.
Oh, yeah, no, that was super tough. We were all super happy for him. He works one of the hardest workers on the team by far.
Excellent. And why are they the Toon Squad? What makes them the Toon Squad?
I don't know. So I think one of the freshmen came up with that nickname, so we kind of started running with it.
Are you guys the Monstars then?
I mean, I wouldn't say we're that
good. Well, you're getting there. You're 6-0 right now. Great start to the season. Obviously, you're at Bowdoin. I mean, it's a non-conference game though. So, what are your thoughts on preparing to face the Polar Bears and what obviously is a rivalry matchup, and will prepare you for a later matchup when it matters for the NESCAC standings, right?
Yeah. So I think this game's definitely going to be a test so far. Probably be one of the better teams we played so far. I'm just looking forward to seeing how we respond to that, how the guys if things don't start going our way, how we reply to that adversity. I just think that if we do the things that we normally do, it should be a good game, and we should come out with the wins, playing our gritty natural basketball. And it's got a lot of faith in our guys. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun game for sure. I was 0-2 with them my freshman year, 2-0 against them last year. So, I mean, the scores evened out. I'm trying to get the odds in our favor.
Yeah, obviously, the great start to the season, as I mentioned, 6-0, of these games, if you had to choose one, what maybe did you learn the most from? If you had to choose one, like, hey, this we can really apply going forward, maybe.
I think the game against Plymouth State was a big lesson because I think we were down like 42-28 with like 5 minutes left to go in the second half. We clawed our way back, made it 38-42 going into the second half. And in the end, we ended up pulling it out, and I feel like that was a big confidence booster for us because, even though we were down in the beginning, I mean, towards like the middle, we still dug ourselves out of that hole, and we understood that the game we should have really dug our feet in from the beginning. So I feel like that's kind of where we've improved. A lot of our games last year, we kind of dug ourselves in a big hole and we weren't able to claw ourselves out. But, when that hole presents itself, we're able to, get ourselves out of there. So that's just a big part of our progression and our development. I'm really, really proud of our guys for that too.
Yeah, I feel like you guys definitely are closing games out with authority this year, which I think has been an issue in the past. I mean, have you noticed that improvement in terms of finishing games?
Yeah, definitely. I think we just keep ourselves a lot more level-headed, just not fouling in the end, just playing straight up. I remember, I think against USM, Jamar had a great wall-up, great defensive play. Got the rebound, we just kept it going and closed the game out. So I feel like, it's making sure that we're playing smart basketball, not making any, crazy hero or zero plays, as our coach likes to call them, and, just being level-headed.
You are shooting 62% from the floor right now. How do you pick your shots so effectively that you know they're going in most of the time like this?
Yeah, I don't like to force that many shots.
Yeah.
I like I feel like the shots that I really like are around the rim and, open threes. So I know my guys can score. I know my guys can shoot it. So whenever I see a second defender, I pass it out to my guys. They swing it, and get a shot. So I got a lot of faith in my guys. So I don't ever really feel the need to, force any double team shots or any bad shots. So I feel like the shots that I get, the ones that I work on, making it so that my percentage is pretty high.
And you're an expert at that fadeaway jump shot also. That can be a tough shot, but it's something I think, I remember Akeem Olajuwon back in the day, the baseline fadeaway, that was like his specialty. Is that something you work on a lot?
Yeah, definitely. I remember being in high school. I wasn't always the strongest, so I was working my fadeaway with my high school coach, Joe Cordero. He always had me in the lab, was working on a fadeaway with him because he was bigger and taller than me. So that was one of the only ways I'd be able to score on him. So, it's definitely a shot I've had in a while. I'm sure you've seen it's progressed since my freshman year. But, just adding my athleticism behind it, getting higher up on my release and just, like, playing more physical through it. definitely has helped me like take it to the next level.
You're 6'7", and your high school coach was bigger and stronger than you?
Yeah, he was like 6'8", huge dude, just I don't know, really big guy. Just so that helped me get a lot better.
I was gonna say that must have really helped in your development because I feel like a lot of big guys probably don't have that to go up against. Right?
Yeah, no, normally I don't. I was shorter in high school actually, so it was even tougher. But it was really good for my development. Just learned how to play a lot more physical and get that little soft touch around the rim.
When did you hit like 6'7", your current height?
I think like summer coming into my freshman year, I like really hit my peak. I think around like 6'7".
Oh, of college.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what were you playing at in high school? Like,
I was around like 6'5", like 6'6" ish.
Okay.
I was mostly a center, but I kind of my senior year I kind of got more into like a wing position. So I'm not too new to that.
Yeah, you're not afraid to bring the ball up the court dribbling either. Like,
yeah, that's something I would have been scared to do my freshman year, but I've worked on my hand a lot this summer, so it's not anything that's too scary.
Free throws have been great too. I'm looking at this 15 of 16 from the line. Is that something you're working on a lot too?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I think I was like 70% last year, so I've definitely been working on my free throws a lot, just keeping my routine the same and consistent, so it'll translate into games.
What's the next step you think for yourself and for the team as we move forward here? Kind of, as we get into NESCAC play, when the games start to really, they all matter, obviously, especially with at-large possibilities, but when they really start to count for NESCAC tournament seeding and whatnot.
I think the next step is just making sure our defense is always webbing well together, staying in our gaps, helping out our guys, rotating well, flying out. Coach Zach Caraviello has been making sure that we're always giving our 100% in practice, and I really commend him for that because I feel as though it's really gotten us to hit that next level, and I just feel like that's gonna be like the game changer for us. If we can keep playing our web defense throughout the whole game, and I feel as though having our second strings all. Keeping like our fire alive. I feel like they've been doing a good job with that. Having David Omasambo, Cole Decker, Jamar Robinson, those guys come in, have some fire with them. Shwer Mayan getting big offensive rebounds. I feel like those guys are really where our hidden power. Like I feel like they're our X factor. So people kind of sleep on some of them, but they're probably in my opinion, some of the best players that are around.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth on this team. You can bring in 5 new guys, and you guys don't miss a ton. It seems like you guys keep it going pretty strong. Huh?
Yeah, for sure. I'm honestly, I've been loving it. I was telling our guys in the game for Umpy yesterday, just give all your effort when you're in there because, we got so much depth on this team. It really does not matter, from our first guy to our 17th guy, everybody can play, and I got so much confidence in everybody, so that's a big jump we've had this year.
Of the first years, Jamari's been playing the most, and obviously, putting some really good minutes. And what have you seen from him? A young guard like that.
I remember in the fall when we had pickups and stuff. He was like the one guy whenever I'd play against him, he'd be talking trash back to me just because he was really getting to it. So
yeah.
I really love his competitive edge on defense and the way he's able to score the ball too. Some of the shots I'm is he gonna make that? And then it goes in. I'm like, all right, that's tough, Mari. But he's just really dynamic player. He can just do a lot. So it's great to see him lefty too. So it's kind of cool seeing that. So yeah.
Nice. And then looking at the schedule beyond the boating game this week, we have home games, Thomas, Maine Maritime Academy. And then I'm curious about the trip down to Atlanta because I know you played Emory 2 years ago. They're a tough team. They're nationally ranked. You're smiling. You're looking forward to that, right?
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah. Probably the best game of my career to date, my freshman year. I gave him 24 and 12, but we came out with a loss. I really want to give him another good game, come out with a win, especially in Atlanta with my guys. So that'll be really fun. Hopefully, I'm just really looking forward to that. I really want to have a good game then. Yeah,
that's a chance for Bates to kind of make a statement, huh?
Oh no, for sure. I feel like if we finish out the games prior to that and get a win there, hopefully we'd be able to get some national recognition. That'd be great. Really love that.
You look at the national picture, Bates men's and women's basketball, both undefeated right now, which one of 6 schools in the country in D3. That's pretty exciting, right?
It is. Yeah, it's really hype. I feel like since my freshman year, we've been really building this, and I'm really happy to see that it's really coming to fruition, and, I just want to keep it going as much as I can. Great.
Well, any other thoughts you wanted to share on the past week and what you're looking forward to here in the next couple weeks we haven't got to talk about?
I just want to give a shout out to Pitt Manelli and Joseph Rooney, our managers on the team, because they've been helping everything go really smoothly. And I'm just really excited to keep this thing rolling. And I'm really happy to see where the program is right now. And, even when times get tough, I'm just happy to be with the guys, happy to be a Bobcat.
It's time to preview the Bates indoor track and field season. The Bobcats have a pair of meets on the schedule this Saturday, and head coach Curtis Johnson gives us an early look at his teams.
We have our season openers, and we are really excited to see where we're at before January and the full season ahead. So BU, we're going to have a small group of distance runners and some of our long sprinters, mid-distance runners go at it, and that's a meet where it'll feature D1, D2, big teams from across the nation all looking for early efforts. And then Bowdoin, obviously, that's going to be like a dual meet, but it's a rival school. So, we want to have fun. We want to see what we can do early on. And we're really excited just to get some marks out there, some qualifiers. And you never know. And we could start off with a bang and perform at the national level, too.
And a chance basically pretty much everyone who's healthy to compete this weekend?
Yeah, and that's newer this year. Mm-hmm. Just 4 or 5 years ago, we didn't even really compete in December. So we've been really utilizing this as a time to get marks before the winter break. And we absolutely are looking for more of our team. And practically, like you said, if you're healthy and, physically ready to go, nothing going on with academics that are putting too much pressure on you, we really want to kick off as strong as we can.
Great. Well, tell me about your leaders, your team captains. I know you have a few for both sides.
Yeah, so we have a great group of captains: Reuven Fry, Evan Migdal, Jackson Mons, Ross Tejeda. Those are our captains on the men's team. On the women's side, we have Carly Civarelli, Chase Conrad, Mariah Sharn, Evelyn Martian, and Lucy Painter. And just really excited about this group of leaders, both what they bring to our team in terms of performance, but the cohesiveness. We're a co-ed team. We're very invested in how we compete. Despite track seeming like an individual sport, we really believe in a team model. So I'm excited with the energy and the consistency they're bringing to this year. And I feel like we're ready to go. I feel like we're best. This could be the best possible start we've had. So I'm excited.
Excellent. Well, you mentioned track being somewhat of an individual sport, but there are, of course, the relays. And I know early on, I'm sure you're looking at different relay possibilities. What are your thoughts there, kind of early on, how you evaluate that?
Yeah, I love the relay conversation. Early meets like this, we do want to run a relay or two, not only to, work on that early season fitness, but to get an idea of like how well people are performing together. We want to know as many options and possibilities before we get to championships. So relays, specifically the 4x4 relay, and further meets, the distance medley relay, 4x8s. On the women's side, the 4x2. There's a lot of different relays and scoring opportunities where we can pair up, 4 athletes on any given meet and see what we can do.
On this episode, we're featuring David Pless, part of our Hall of Fame interview series. He had a chance earlier this year to meet with the current throwers. Pretty cool experience for them, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was here when he was just, hanging out with the team and addressing them and, watching them, going out with them to kind of train and give some pointers. And it's just so beautiful how things can come full circle from the time he was dominating at Bates in the NCAA to come back with his family, and, see what this team is looking like. And he had great things to say, especially about the size and the depth and how, he could tell how focused this group was. So we're excited. I think that this is another strong era for Bates throws in particular. So we're excited to see them. That group is dominant in both depth and ability. So they're gonna kick off with a splash.
Great. And looking forward to January and February. I believe we are hosting the Main State Indoor this year. Is that right?
Yes, and that wasn't originally the plan,
right.
But we're so excited to have Main States back home. Anytime you can compete at home, the energy is just it's contagious. So this is our home track. We are here training, every day. So we're looking forward to it. We always have our Bates Invitational and multi annually at home, but to be able to compete during that peak season where we're kind of performing at our best at home, we don't take that for granted. So we want to do what we do. We want to perform well. We want to win. And Main States is such a fun, tradition we have.
Obviously a big team, so it's tough to single out individuals necessarily. But anyone out there putting up some numbers early on in practice maybe that might be eye-opening this year?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who are just showing that if they're a returner, that they're much fitter this time of year than they were. I'm seeing things that we typically wouldn't see until January, February, which is exciting. And then of course, with the freshmen, everything is new. Sure. So a lot of times in training, I'm like, wow, I think this is really good. This is really good. Not every training session is going to be about going all out, so I can't say we've seen personal bests everywhere. But in some cases, I can tell people are going to have personal bests right away. And we don't have to wait until January, February to go fast or throw far. And that's something, I love about these openers, that we're going to be able to see some great things. So our freshman class, they're incredibly strong on the men's and women's side. Their ability to adapt to training and jump right in and train at a consistent level has really impressed me and, the leaders on our team. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about this group.
Great. Well, any other thoughts you wanted to share on the upcoming season? Anything else you wanted to mention or highlight people should know about the track and field teams?
Wow, great question. Well, I know it's outdoor I'm going to reference to, and we're focused on indoor for now. But there's been a lot of talk and excitement about our first in a very long time spring break trip in Atlanta. So we're focused on having a strong competitive indoor season and seeing people, get to that national championship, of course. But we also are ready to go for the spring. And so opportunities like that spring break trip to boost our team's performance and experience is going to really take us to the next level. So we're excited for people to support us and continue to do that. Last year, you might have saw some groundbreaking results in different event groups, and we're hoping to do the same this year.
Atlanta, hometown, David Pless.
Exactly. So that's funny, and he knows about the trip. So
yeah.
Things like that, they just come full circle, and we're excited for this season and the spring.
All right, Curtis Johnson, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Our Bates Athletics Hall of Fame interview series continues this week with the great David Pless from the class of 2013. Pless won 3 NCAA championships in the indoor shot put during his time as a Bobcat and went on to compete at multiple U.S. Olympic trials. We chatted with him in October during induction weekend, and he described his reaction to finding out he'd been voted into the Hall of Fame.
I started crying. I got the letter the one night in June, and I opened it the next morning at like 6:30 with my son, who is now 10 and a half months old, and I read him the entire letter. It was very moving. I mean, Bates was such a formative place for me, and where where I found my love and passion for athletics, and I just feel tremendously honored to be part of this event and to be recognized.
And take us back to when you came up to Bates from Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So, first of all, how to get on your radar, and tell me how you got into the throws program here.
The reason that I got into track and field in the first place is that in 7th grade, I got cut from the baseball team, and then the soccer team, and then track was a no-cut sport. So I went out because I heard that throwing was something that I could do, and I actually ended up running the 2-mile when I was in high school. And I did shot put and discus throughout high school, and I was decent at it. But I really, found a love for the sport. I had a mentor when I was in high school at Asheville School, a guy named John Smith. He was Bates class in '94, and he was also a track and field athlete. He told me all of the, laurels about the Bates throws program and especially Joe Woodhead.
Right.
And so I ended up here in, June of 2008, touring the campus with Fresh, and then applied early decision. And so I think the rest is history. I had always... I had set my sights on Bates, I think, because of both the academics as well as athletic opportunities to participate in D3, because I was not feeling that I was up to par for being recruited.
Coach Woodhead, kind of tail end of his career when you got here, or was he still?
We overlapped for 1 year.
For 1 year, okay.
He was there my freshman year.
Okay.
And he passed away in October 2010.
Gotcha.
So we were still in preseason at that point, but I did get to have one full season with him.
So what was that like?
It was fantastic. He would pull his truck up to the throws area, and he would sit there and coach us. There was something so amazing about his ability to connect with athletes and to get them to understand the movements and actually do them. So he could take people who had never thrown hammer before and have them doing 3 turns in a week or so. And I think that was his special talent for sure, is to, I guess, the way that he relayed information, the way that he got people to understand what to do. And that's what made him such a fantastic coach, is that he was such a great communicator.
And then, unfortunately, obviously, he passed away. Coach Fresh stepped up because he was a great throws coach, cross-country coach, did it all here. Tell me about what you learned from him after, and when that transition kind of, right?
So the thing that a lot of people don't know about Fresh is that Fresh had a lot of throws experience prior to showing up here.
Yeah.
So when he was at the University of Kansas, he had 2 athletes that were both throwing in the mid-60s in the shot, and he also had athletes prior to coming to Bates that he coached in the throws. And so he was, he's one of the most well-rounded coaches I think I'd ever met. From the track to each of the different field events, he had expertise in all of these different areas. And if he didn't necessarily have the expertise, he had a way of, working with you through questioning to kind of bring it out of you to help you find the answer. But, Fresh stepped in then as the throws coach, and I think he designated himself the head throws coach too, which was awesome because track and field, not to go on too much of a tangent, but track and field is an individual sport, which has been something I've thought about so much in my work life, especially as I've gotten older, and how those two things parallel. But for Fresh, specifically, what I think that he did that was really successful that led to a lot of the success of the team is that many cross-country track and field coaches really excel in the running events. And we noticed that head coaches seem to have like more of a correlation with running events. But because he was able to be the lead on the throws team as well as have expertise on the track, he was a core theme in unifying those groups that might not have otherwise kind of fit together. And so I think that, one, learning from his expertise, but 2, just him taking over as throws coach was one of the things that really resulted in the team being as great as it was during that era.
Yeah, you guys won the NCAA title in 2012. What do you remember about that? You hosted and won.
Yeah, that was a moving day. My key memory, I think, is just when the meet had concluded and we had won, and it was at Bates, which was incredible because, that happens once every 10 years.
Right.
The team got together and we were kind of cheering. I think everybody was just cheering. And then as a collective team, we ran a lap around the track. And initially I was holding the Bates flag, but I passed it off to others and it went throughout the crowd and everybody got a chance to hold the flag. And I think that is a metaphor for how that team became what they became. Everybody had a chance to participate and contribute.
3 straight national championships in the shot put for you.
Mm-hmm.
What made that such a great event?
I always thought that I would have thrown the discus, and Fresh, when I was coming in, I think that he actually thought that I would be more of a hammer thrower. He also had a lot of tact, I think, in coaching that event. But with the shot, it was something about the repetition of the movement. It's hard to really put my finger on.
Yeah.
I'll just give you a memory. So it's my freshman year, and it is short term, so I've got a little bit of extra time on my hands. And I don't have anybody telling me that I shouldn't overtrain. So I'm down at the throws area probably for 2.5 hours a day, throwing the shot and just playing around with it for like that entire month. And at one point in that month, something did click. And I think that's when I started throwing like over 50 feet. Like I started to get the rhythm. And it was something about, the feel of the event that really drew me in, that I could see measurable progress. And then later in my career, I was happy that I had chosen the shot because it is the one that you can do in most places. It's very hard to find a place to train hammer. You have to have a very specific place. But I found myself, throwing into hillsides and such like that later in my career. So it worked out well that way.
Of your 3 titles, which was the most memorable national meet, maybe?
It's really hard to say because Aaron, the national championships really don't stand out as much as some of the other events.
Okay.
What actually stands out most to me when I think back about my Bates track and field career would be indoor New England Division IIIs in 2012, which were at Springfield College, and then outdoor New England Division IIIs, which were held at Colby College. And Bates won indoors for the first time at Springfield and outdoors for the first time at Colby. And all that I kind of recollect from those events, besides like some of the key performances, is like the team in the middle of the track at the end of the meet in a giant blob just going nuts.
Yeah.
But we had been going nuts for like 2 hours before, while other events were going on. When I think back to this time, like the national championships were fantastic, but the things that stand out the most were the team victories.
Yeah, because you said earlier how track and field is such an individual sport, but you guys obviously made it as a great team. I mean, what was the team dynamic like? I mean, because throwers sometimes Might be separate, but it seems
Yeah.
like everyone was connected pretty well.
We had a really good distribution of team captains.
Okay, yeah.
So there were team captains in, the vault, in the decathlon, in the mid distance, long distance, and in the sprints and in the throws. And so we had, people that were kind of representing from each of those different units, and it helped bring the entire team together as a result. So I think just by, I don't know, having that connection between each of the different captains that we were able to kind of bring along some of the younger athletes, it really ended up being a perfect scenario for how we can take all these different individual events and be successful as a team together. And so I was really proud of the way that we all navigated that, because you really can just run with the individualism of track and field if you wanted to.
You played some football here, right? A little bit?
I was on the Bates football team in the fall of 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that was the only year?
That was the only year.
Yeah.
I was I had not played extensively in high school, but I was a big kid.
Okay.
So people wanted me on the team. And I had really wanted to play tight end when I got here, but they put me on the defensive line, and unfortunately I did not see a down of playtime that fall.
Okay.
And so when it came to track and field, it also was nice to have a season off where I could just train in the fall instead of kind of being in season year round. But I enjoyed I enjoyed playing football. I actually the thing that I wanted to do most when I got to Bates was play basketball.
Okay.
Yeah. That did not pan out.
Did you try out?
I did not try out. I think I was too afraid or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I was I am not good enough to play college basketball. I'm not even going to go out there. But I played on the intramural teams for quite some time.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice. Can you dunk?
Yes.
Nice.
At this point, I don't know
About
anymore.
this
I'm
point, right?
34, but back in the day, yeah.
I mean, the throwers legacy, we talk about all the time, but what throwers influenced you when you got here, and who have you kind of passed it along to?
It is continuous, right?
Yeah.
It's not. There were people that were here that were directly influencing me, as well as people that had graduated that were directly influencing me throughout that time. And there are people from the 70s that would have influenced me, like a Bob Cedrone.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to put my finger on any number of people, but a lot of them I talked to just in the last week. So I can't. Ethan Waldman, Chris Murtagh, Sean Enos were a core group for me because we overlapped for those years, and Chris and Ethan were the ones who really got me to think differently about track and field, where it wasn't just we're going to do this in season. It was we're going to train in the summer, we're going to train in the fall, we're going to have specified programs, we're going to show up together, we're going to push each other, and that's what led to that success, and that's what I was able to pass on to Sean. But Chris and Ethan were begotten by Rich McNeil, who was begotten by Noah, who was begotten by a Jamie Soller, and then Dustin Gauthier, and it goes back. And then moving forward, it's Sean passing it on to Nick Margitza, passing it on to Adedire, passing it on to Johnny Rex, and it continues.
And speaking of that, you're meeting with the throwers in a little under 30 minutes here. What are you hoping to gain from that?
Yeah, I'm excited. Mostly, I want to get to know them. I know at this point in their season, they're going into fall training, and it's kind of a difficult time to be down at the track. So I don't know if I have a specific intent. I'm definitely not picking up the thing to throw it, but I will be there to answer any questions and, try to convey a little bit of the Bates legacy to them and make myself a resource, because the thing about my career and doing it for so many years after, I was looking at my stack of journals that are on my shelf, and there's about 15 of them. There's so much that I learned throughout my career from, Jared Rome and from Mike Judge and from others that influenced me, like Mike Lewis, and it would be a shame if I can't pass any of that down. That's the whole point of this, is that it's a pay it forward mentality. And so that's what I want to do today.
Yeah, let's talk about post-Bates, because I was talking with Keelan Gotze and his career, Pan Am Games, stuff like that. What were some memorable meets for you after Bates when you were competing on the national stage, really?
Yeah, there's a few that come to mind. Making the final at the Olympic trials in 2016 was a big one, and throwing a PR that day in prelims after, having definitely a more difficult season. That just, continued to encourage me to keep going. Coming in second at USA Nationals indoors in 2017 is also one that really stands out. And then there are some meets that stand out, I think, like towards the end of my career that were exclamation points that I'm really proud of. So the Tucson Elite meet in 2019, at that time I threw a PR of like 69.4 or something like that and came in second to Ryan Krauser. And that really stood out to me because I had put so much emphasis on that meet and felt prepared and felt ready to step up. Those are some of the ones I think from post-college. There's also some other more fun ones. There was a time I put on a gladiator costume at Clackamas Community College and threw the hammer when I was like 26 because I had my training group egging me on and it was going to be like a small competition. And I was surprised I actually threw it pretty far. So there were things like, there were other more funny times, but from the serious aspect, I would say like those three meets.
And I remember when you returned here and set the facility record, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is very memorable. And I know that we got to talk before that, but do you remember what happened at the meet and then post?
Oh, you're really testing me. I don't remember what happened.
So I show up in the meet and I set the facility record. And I think I threw 1914, which is like 62.10 or something. And then, just like what I mentioned earlier about messing around in suits and things like that, I said, I'm going to pick up the weight. I'm also going to compete in the weight throw.
Oh.
And we're in warm-ups at this point, and I'm standing off to the side, outside of the flags, I will say, like, not in the landing zone. And a thrower from Husson lets go the weight, and it whacks me right in the right shoulder.
Oh, my God.
Which worked out perfectly because Chris Murtagh was standing behind me playing Angry Birds, and it probably would have hit him in the head. But I ended up with a huge hematoma on my arm. And it took me out of commission for about 4 weeks after that.
I did not know this.
Taking a hit from the 35-pound weight, but I was able to kind of spring back from that. So it was a big high and then getting hit by the weight and then moving on forward from there. But the name of the game is resilience. And so I ended up actually still throwing a PR that year, even with the injury. So
gotcha.
That was an exciting weekend.
You can look back on it now and laugh, but
now I can look back
on it. At the time,
it
it was
laugh.
probably not very amusing.
At the time, I was like, moving my arm around, like, I'm okay. I'm like, no, I got hit with a 35-pound weight about 40 feet out. So I probably want to take a second off.
You got to keep your head on a swivel in the throws area, I guess.
Yeah, now it's good.
But what are you up to nowadays?
So now I work for a company called Inmar Intelligence. It's based out of Winston-Salem. I'm a senior director of product strategy, which is pretty new. So I had the distinct pleasure and fortune of being able to work full-time alongside training when I was in my 20s and kind of pursuing career as well. So I have been there for about 6 years. My wife and I were part of the same business that she started and actually was purchased by Inmar. So there's been some twists and turns all throughout that.
Gotcha. And then any thoughts of ever returning to the competition like seniors and stuff like that? I know there's things like that out there. What do they call them? Masters? Seniors? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Masters. It starts at 35. So I've got like I got 45 more days.
Okay. Yeah.
So in 2021, when I was at the Olympic trials, there's like this tradition of leaving your shoes in the circle when you retire.
Okay.
And before the 2021 Olympic trials, on that pair of shoes, I'll send you a picture. I wrote down the names of everybody who had influenced my career, from all of the people that I trained alongside with to Fresh and Jared Rome, on the actual straps of the shoes. And I left my shoes in the circle that day, and it was cathartic in that manner. But I guess what I'm trying to say is track and field held a really special place for me, and I do love to coach, but I don't know if I'm ever going to pick up the shot or the discus again. So to be determined.
Do you coach people right now, though?
Not
right
formally.
Now. Okay.
It's been more difficult with the other obligations that I have. But I was a coach at Concordia. I also coached like private athletes, and I did over 40 clinics when I was in my 20s. So I do love to coach. I used to every summer I would go out to the Ironwood camp, and I would be able to work with up to 300 middle school and high school age throwers from across the United States and international. And it was fantastic to be able to kind of get to work with them on that level and, pull that knowledge forward to them.
How did your time at Bates, prepare you for what you're doing now?
So this, I know there's got to be a major debate about the value of the liberal arts education. And I would say that if you're looking at it in a manner of, I don't see the value in this, then you're looking at it the wrong way. Bates taught me to think critically. So I graduated with a major in philosophy and like a minor in history, which shut down the philosophy factory. There are no more philosophy jobs. So I went into the corporate world. I went into sales development and worked for Salesforce.com. And I think just knowing that I wanted to move forward into like more of a business career, I wasn't necessarily prepared for it, but I was ready, willing, and able to do like what it took to be successful in that job. And that is something that I thought also carried forward. So my Bates education was extremely important in helping me think more critically about what I wanted to do with my life and how I was going to actually get there and execute on it, where it didn't have to be such a narrow path of like, I chose this very specific major that goes into a very specific field. The world was my oyster to kind of move forward into. And so I'm extremely grateful for what I learned at Bates and how that has translated. And then, later on in 2022, I actually ended up going back to school while I was working full time, and I got my MBA at Emory. Okay. In May of 2024. So I was able to, once I knew more about what I really wanted to do and what direction I wanted to go towards, then I was able to pick a business school that aligned with that. So it's all an evolution, right?
So you're back in Atlanta then?
Back in Atlanta, living in Grant Park with Chrissy and Freddie and our 2 dogs. We have 2 Bernedoodles named Wallace and Bernard.
Nice. When's the last time you came up to campus? Is your return here?
2023 for the 10-year.
Oh, right. Yeah. Not too long.
Yeah, it's like every couple years I feel like I get back to the campus, which is nice. I loved, really appreciated seeing how it's changed over time.
Yeah, certainly. What's the biggest change you've noticed? It's only been, it hasn't been that long, but.
Well, I haven't even been over there yet because I flew into Portland this morning. But I would have to say that, anything on the other side of like Chase, like the redoing of the street over there where the bookstore is.
Oh, sure, yes.
That I know is now probably ancient news to people who are on campus, but was totally not something I expected at the time.
Yeah.
I'm also really looking forward to seeing the scoreboard in about 20 minutes.
That's right, yeah. 2 shiny new video boards, one at Russell Street and one at Garcelon. So it's nice. Well, any other thoughts you wanted to share about, your time as a Bobcat, what you wanted to mention we haven't got to talk about?
I wanted to express my gratitude for Bates and for the experience that I had here and the openness to allow me to develop and excel in different areas from the classroom to on the track. I was talking about this with my wife as we got up here about, our college experience. And she was like, now that I'm a little bit older, like I would love to go back with this mindset that I have. And for me, I would never go back because I don't think that it could work out as well as it did if I tried to do it again. So I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. So I am extremely grateful to my professors, my friends, and to the people that make this place run for making it the place that it is.
Outstanding. David Pless, Hall of Famer, 3-time NCAA champion. Thanks so much for joining us on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate being here.
Don't forget, the women's basketball team hosts number 6 nationally ranked Bowdoin this Thursday at 7 p.m. And the squash teams are home this Saturday to take on Brown at noon and Trinity at 6 o'clock. Keep up with all the latest Bates athletics news at GoBatesBobcats.com. And we'll catch you next time on the Bates Bobcast.